Welcome into the bunker of General Gridiron, Field Marshal of Football Forecasted. We're about to map out the way this college football weekend is gonna go. Will your favorite team be marching to victory, or will the enemy be taking your battle flag? College football is awesome because it's full of surprising upsets, Vanderbilt over Georgia, and absolute beatdowns, Michigan routing Rutgers. Look for similar results during this weekend's action. So grab your helmet and man those battle stations. We're ready for another round of General Gridiron's football foretelling. NC State at Louisville. The Raleigh Wolf-like hand signals nearly savaged the number 4 Clemson Felines last week in South Carolina. Meanwhile, the media darlings from the Papa John's Pizza Box scraped by on the crust of their well-seasoned QB in the head-to-head buffet with Duke. This week, a spicy-hyped Louisville squad stays in northern Kentucky to roll out the welcome dough for a scrappy state team with 4 skins on their wall already. Watch the Cardinals from the Bluegrass State pick and grin to the tune of a close win along the Ohio. The Generals victor? Louisville. Washington State at Arizona State. The Pirates of the Palouse were a Buccaneer bomb to begin the season, but the strange one they call Leach has the powerful Pullman pugilist on a 4-game win streak. In Tempe, the temperature is typically roasting, even if the local Sun Devils aren't. Todd Graham and his age-inappropriate armband has Sparky up and down, depending on the week. The Devils will look to escape the 7th level of hell they were in last week when Crimson and Gray comes to the desert. But the Leach air raid's too much for the dried-out Devils. The Generals victor? Washington State. Arkansas at Auburn. What are the Hogs? Well, aside from a delicious and squealing barbecue meat, of course, even the most clairvoyant of Vietnam faithful can't predict which Razorback squad will show up each week. Will it be the punchy pigs that gored Ole Miss? Or will it be the tender domestic beast who rolled over for the Aggies? Prediction? The Hog team that shows up Saturday night is the one that beats the Auburn Tigers on the plains. The Generals victor? Arkansas. Ohio State at Penn State. Now that Joe Pa has been honored, the Nittany Lions can get back to concentrating on losing football games to opponents with a pulse. It's true, Happy Valley can rejoice in the 4-2 record, but the corpses that have succumbed to the blue and white are only barely tackle football programs. This week, the number 2 Buckeyes roll into town, more Walking Dead-style ravenous zombie than lifeless corpse. Halloween is close, but the bloodbath comes early in State College. The Generals victor? Ohio State. Memphis at Navy. Okay, folks, may I present to you your number 24 ranked Navy midshipmen. That's right, the officers and gentlemen from Annapolis are sitting pretty in the top 25. After a Super Bowl win over Houston in the recent past, the Seamen stare down another bogey in the surprising Memphis Tigers. Riley Ferguson has replaced Paxton Lynch rather nicely for the BBQ City Boys, and the East Memphis Tigers are a tough out. Look for the middies to batten down the hatches, load the cannons, and blow the blue kittens sky high. The Generals victor? Navy. Still to come on this college football forecast, we're going to give Ralphie and the surging Colorado Buffaloes some on-air love. And undefeateds Texas A&M and Alabama clash in T-Town in an epic SEC West Donnybrook. Which Gridiron Gladiator will leave Bryant Denny unscathed? I'll tell you in a moment when General Gridiron returns.
Because you want more flavor, at Nuke's we marinate and grill to perfection. Because you want the latest culinary tastes and trends, we never rest. At Nuke's, great food drives us. So we are meticulous in our preparation, obsessed with the quality of our ingredients, and uncompromising about serving you our very best. We believe that sharing a memorable meal is one of life's ultimate pleasures. Join us at Nuke's Eatery.
General Gridiron back with you. Thanks for sticking with us. Each week, this fabulous football forecast is heard on some of the finest radio stations all over the Southeast, including the Dove 1620 in the Palmetto State's capital city, Columbia, South Carolina, and Q94 WQZX FM 94.3 in Greenville, Alabama. We appreciate all of our radio affiliates. Now, let's get back into the football fight. Ole Miss at LSU. What should have been a clash of Deep South Titans has turned into a pillow fight between two SEC West also-rans. The Rebels from Oxford went from being the best 3-2 team in the country to a fairly average 3-3 squad after being stampeded by the Hog Squad in the Ozarks. However, the battle of cornbread versus corn dogs is always one that elicits passion from the fans. Coach O is a great talker and a mediocre coacher. The Colonel will relive 2008 glory as the Grays tame the Cats down on the bayou. The Generals victor? Flim Flam, Ole Miss, by damn. Oregon State at Washington. Beavers and Huskies. Despite the risque-sounding matchup, this clear-cut beatdown waiting to happen is already over. Seattle's Snow Dogs have licked every challenger this season, while the tail-slapping dam builders have been crushed by the heavy current of the Pac-12. Chris Peterson has taken his excellence from Boise to the Pacific Northwest, and Husky fans are howling with delight. Oregon State is typically tough in the friendly confines of a renovated Reser Stadium, but Corvallis is a long way from Seattle for the Beavs. The Generals victor? Washington. TCU at West Virginia. WVU appears to have the best defense in the 12, which is saying a lot when a defensive 11 shuts down a Texas Tech offense like they did last week. Yet to suffer a single broken bottle of good old Mountain Dew, the Appalachian attack squad faces yet another high-flying spread offense when the TCU Froggies hop into chilly Morgantown. Kenny Hill isn't Trevon Boykin, and the Ears defense will have a heavy musket. The Generals victor? West Virginia. Colorado at Stanford. Quick, name a bigger surprise in college football than the formerly lowly Buffs. Whatever you said is wrong, because Ralphie has been resurrected from the Grand Bison graveyard in the sky and returned to Boulder with a buffalo chip on his hairy shoulder. The fairly standard color from Palo Alto hosts these revived bovines, and the secret is out. Christian McCaffrey is the only football player on the Trees roster. The Wild West will roll right over the private school brains. The Generals victor? Colorado. Texas A&M at Alabama. You want to know which program will win the SEC this season? Spoiler alert, one of these two teams. The faux military boys from College Station goose-step into Tuscaloosa ranked number 6. But the beige way practicing yells at midnight Friday don't scare the number 1 ranked Elephants, who hold court at their home Pachyderm Palace. The Ag spread versus the pro-style Crimson Tide should be a stomping good time for all Southern football feasters. Myles Garrett is ready to show you who he is. He makes Jalen Hurts look like a freshman. The Generals victor? Texas A&M turns the tide. We've already looked at the weekend's biggest battles across the nation, but hang on to your helmet. There's more around the corner. We'll be back in just a moment to wrap up this week's General Gridiron with the all-important rapid-fire picks. This is General Gridiron, back with you. We've already maneuvered through this weekend's frontline college football showdowns. Now it's time to fix your bayonet and storm the field with our rapid-fire football forecast. Wisconsin creams Iowa. Oklahoma State ropes Kansas. Air Force marches past Hawaii. Kentucky continues Mississippi State's agony. Kansas State continues Texas's agony. Missouri melts Middle Tennessee State. North Carolina passes by Virginia. Houston claws SMU. Nebraska beats Purdue. South Carolina mashes Massachusetts. Connecticut bites UCF. Michigan embarrasses Illinois. Western Michigan stays unbeaten against Eastern Michigan. Oklahoma boot-scoots Texas Tech. Army annoys North Texas. Vanderbilt out Nashville's Tennessee State. Indiana nips Northwestern. Tulane takes out Tulsa. Harvard outwits Princeton. And Utah downs UCLA in Rose Bowl Stadium. Well, troops, you can now put your swords back in their scabbards. We're all out of picks on this week's edition of General Gridiron. We'll be back again next week, same General Gridiron time, same General Gridiron station. So don't forget to tune us in on the radio, Facebook, and YouTube TV. And don't forget to tell your friends all about the show. Just search for General Gridiron. This is John Rawl, the General of Gridiron Glory, thanking you for letting me be a part of your football weekend. This show was written by the great Matt Heermans. General Gridiron is a production of CRM Sports. For more, log on to crmsports.com.
That'll be all, y'all.